as storms continued to pummel parts of California, bringing snow to higher elevations and dumping rain in hail in the flatlands. Interstate 5, the largest highway leading north out of the city, remained closed in the steep grade known as the Grapevine due to heavy snow, while several more southern points of the freeway in and around Los Angeles were closed due to flooding, the California Department of Transportation has reported. In Northern California, San Francisco was expected to experience record cold temperatures on Saturday, and the National Weather Service warned residents in the state capital of Sacramento to avoid travel from Sunday through Wednesday as rain and snow started up again after a reprieve on Saturday. The next set of storms expected to hit on Sunday will bring wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour and up to 70 miles per hour in the nearby Sierra Nevada mountains. Yosemite National Park was closed through Wednesday due to severe winter conditions. Brigadier William Kamoro has officially taken over from Brigadier Chatani Gula as commander of the Kenya Defense Forces contingent serving with the African Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMS. The command handover ceremony took place on Friday at the ATMS Sector 2 at headquarters in Doble, which is manned by Kenyan Defense Forces. Brigadier Gula supervised the 11th ATMS KDF contingent during his one-year tour of duty in Somalia, while Brigadier Kamoro will command the 12th ATMS KDF contingent. The outgoing commander commended his officers for their cooperation and commitment, which enabled the contingent to carry out joint operations consistently and successfully with the Somalia National Army against Al-Shabaab militants. In your sports, Amakosi continued their league dominance over the Buccaneers with a late own goal by substitute defender Olisanda, who spectacularly beat his goalkeeper Sipot Lane in the 88th minute to settle this match that was heading for an uninspiring draw. With this 1-0 win at FNB Stadium, which was not full like previous installments of the Soweto Derby, Chiefs remain 5th on the DSTV Premiership standings, but joint third-place Pirates are on 31 points from 21 games. Coach Arthur Swanning will be pleased with the result, as it eases pressure on him after the embarrassing defeat to Golden Arrows last weekend, while Jose Rivero will lament inconsistency by his players. And Barbara Krejcova notched up her first ever WTA 1000 title after once again getting the better of Iga Swiatek in a final, this time at the Dubai Tennis Championships. The last time the two met was in Ostrava Open final in October last year, and on that occasion Krejcova became only the second player to defeat Swiatek in a final, as she won in 3 sets to lift the 5th career title. Now she has 2 wins in 2 finals against the 3-time Grand Slam winner, and this time it was more straightforward as she claimed 6-4, 6-2 win in 1 hour and 31 minutes. In your weather, Bloemfontein will be sunny and hot with temperature highs of 33 degrees. Cape Town cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 22 degrees with scattered thundershowers. Devon partly cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 21 degrees and scattered thundershowers. East London partly cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 23 degrees. Johannesburg partly cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 26 degrees and scattered thundershowers. Kimberley sunny and hot with temperature highs of 36 degrees. Mafeking partly cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 32 degrees and scattered thundershowers. And Nelspruit partly cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 26 degrees. Polokwane partly cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 27 degrees with scattered thundershowers. For Vuka Online Radio News, I am Mangas Makalima.
Don't take credit. Unexpected coming from a bank. But just think about it. Using credit to finance a flashy lifestyle to show that you've arrived won't help you live better. What's new today is old tomorrow, except for the debt that you still have to pay. But do take credit to renovate your home, buy a more reliable car, or pay for your children's education. If that's your goal, then Capitec will help you realize your dreams. Because living better starts when you get credit for the right reasons.
Your inspirational radio, Vuka Online.
Based on true events. Paris 2014.
Oui, hello Marcel. Hope you and the family are well. Listen, you know those 2,000 trains that we ordered for the 15 billion euro, yeah? Well, we have a big problem. They are too wide for the stations, you know, for the concrete. So they cannot run. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the president has been informed, so you have to call me back. Urgent, okay? Urgent. Au revoir. Merci. Au revoir. Call me.
Working late tonight? Make it McDelivery.
More music, more inspiration.
Welcome to another episode of PK Unshackled. My name is Makak Tide, and guess what? After searching the world wide, I have found a PK who is like me, who talks the truth. Today I'm chilling with, I asked him earlier on if I should call him Bishop or Archbishop or Pope or Prophet in waiting, but he just said, just call me Nkululeko Vilakazi. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Yourself?
No, I'm top, man. I'm top. But thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, it is actually a long overdue because we spoke about it, and I don't know what happened, and then things got up and up, up and down. But I'm glad I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So the topic for today is Our Lives Matter. The story of a PK. Yeah. So we don't worry. Let's take a quick break. After the break, you can unleash. I'm not gonna talk a lot today because I can hear that you're bubbling. So let's take a quick break.
Give a little, help a lot. Make getting back to school easier for families by paying towards their PEP lay-by. Give as little as 2 Rand in-store or 20 Rand online. Make a difference. Become a lay-by buddy today.
Playing the music you love.
This is Vuka Online, your inspiration radio station.
24 hours of non-stop anthems.
Welcome back to this episode of PK Unshackled. I am chilling with a fellow PK by the name of Nkululeko Vilakazi. Baba, for those who don't know you, who is Nkululeko Vilakazi?
Yeah, as we have said, I am a PK. I'm a son to Apostle Babu Vilakazi, PH Vilakazi. He was an evangelist for many years from the Alliance Church. And then he went on to start his own ministry, Beno Mama. Even before then, they were involved in the youth movement, which produced a lot of current, known, and prominent leaders today. But I'm born from that family, very Christian family, with my sisters seriously involved also with the gospel music. So we all around, we are Christian based, and so I think that's what it is. So that's who I am, one of those people. Grew up in church, learned to play music in church, and that's basically who I am.
So that's a nice picture. Grew up in church. It was nice. You spoke in tongues, and then my assumption is you started having questions.
No. Look, okay. You see, my being the last in the family, you begin to see things different from the first one. So meaning that your analysis is not only informed by what you see from your parents, but also your older siblings, how they do things and what they do, because to also inform you. And then you want to find yourself between all of their behaviors. You want to find yourself between all of them. Like for an example, my elder brother, who just passed about 2 years ago, became involved in politics, and he became the rebellious one because of how we grew up and how, safe to say, he also hated church. In his hatred for church, he always acknowledged God. He always, acknowledged God, but he hated church. And then I had my sisters who became staunch and disciplined members. But in my consciousness as I grew, I also realized that I'm becoming politically conscious myself. And in my exposure to all your Marxist theories and all of that, I questioned a lot of things about church and how it was run. But I could not explain the poverty which I came from in the name of God and suffering for Christ. And for me, that did not make sense. More than anything, how much my parents gave themselves to people. There was never a time where I grew up, there was never Slala Nomuntu Okmasoasekai. Like, hey, don't every time, that. I mean, every time we're in a 4-roomed house. I mean, you once came to our house in a time, I remember it's a 4-roomed house. And we stayed there with another 5, 10 young people from other homes and other places. So, who at any given time can leave and go back to their parents when you use the only source. But you cannot get it because of other kids around the home who are other boys. You cannot be given a preferential experience than them. So those experiences for me, and Ubaba, they have been for 3 months. And there was no offering. You've got one shoe, yes, to start a Sunday food, the same. I remember I had that kind of a shoe in Tanga. I took it to a shoemaker. When I went there the last time, that was nothing. Because you could not do anything. Now, the way they look at me, they had lost shape. And that for me was how I felt. And I began to question, even to a point of questioning God himself. But as I grow, as I say, when you begin to realize and separate God from the institution called church. And where I'm at now, I'm like fed up, and in another language, what they had for, with an institution called church.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you, especially the fact that. So, and this is an analysis I've had with I'm a PK in general. So a lot of our parents, they are not PKs. They're not. They come from families where there was slaughtering, and when they found Evangeli, it was, hey, we are saved. We must throw everything. We are going to heaven.
Yeah.
We've got this new life. And I have a problem with that, in the sense that, that the harshness that is imposed on us PKs. For example, I am not a pastor. I will never preach. I will never be an evangelist. And, I'll never do it, And one of the things that I always say is, Christians come and say, you must take the mantle from your father and tell them, go jump off a goat's ass. Don't come and tell me what I must do. No. Don't. Stop putting that pressure on me, because I'm. So if you are called, who's the first person who's supposed to know? Me.
Yourself. That's true. I mean, at least when you can even tell that you're not called. I mean, by virtue of having a Bible study from Monday to Monday, home sale on Tuesday, something else on Wednesday, Friday it's youth, and then Saturday weekend it's rehearsals, choir rehearsals and all of that. Your exposure to that, then it also gives you that ability from a calling, though you want to call it a calling, to know how to preach. Like, I mean, I'm saying for a number of years, which could be like from my youth, I've been a preacher of the gospel. Like I've preached in places, traveled to Botswana, like seriously, and people thought that I'm gonna take over my dad, over from my dad, But as I began to ask questions, that am I doing this because it's something I've been exposed to all these years, or is it really my calling? And they start calling you those names, Prophet Bilagazi, Pastor Bilagazi, they start calling you those names, and I accepted them for some time, but to some extent I woke up and I said, but I can't be. I can't even expose my kids to that. I can't keep that cycle going on, And I mean, I can be judged by whatever. I mean, now I'm like, but 6 years I'm not going to church, and not because of backsliding, but the institution, how it is institutionalized, whatever it is, church. I just can't take it anymore.
Okay, let's take a quick break. Yeah, no, let's take a quick break. After the break, we'll speak specifically about the institution of church, because I have a lot to say. Let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Like the sunrise wakes the dawn, gently she takes me through the stillness somewhere beyond, floating on and on, going on and on, endless is love. Sometimes she needs me like the summer needs the rain. Softly she'll tease me till our passion drifts to an end. Once again and again, then again, once again. Ooh, endless is love. Time out of mind disappears far behind, and where it goes, no one knows. It goes. Like the ocean leaves the shore, then when she needs me, she returns to love as before. Only more, always more, more, evermore. Endless is love. is love. Endless is love.
Build generational wealth and save when you combine life and funeral cover. Take one dealer here. For just 347 Rand per month, he gets 1.5 million Rand life cover plus 15,000 Rand funeral cover for his wife. Or Prisha, who gets 1 million Rand life cover plus 15,000 Rand funeral cover for her grandmother for just 297 Rand per month. Build your generational wealth plan today with One Life. Go to onelife.co.za today. One Life. Changing lives.
You're listening to Vuka Online.
Vuka, 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 fondi de sambe. Vuka, vuka, fondi de sambe.
Welcome back to the the third segment of Picky and Shackled. I'm spending my Sunday morning with dare I say it, Prophet. Yeah, you look like a prophet, by the way. They say I look like an evangelist, then you look like a prophet. But my brother, so I also grew up in church, right?
Yeah.
Grew up in church, parents have always preached, they love the Lord. I did the choir thing, but so I left it. There's many things. And at some point, I realized that the church is either lying to people or telling people half truths.
True. Yeah, correct.
First, right? They say, when you're young, you can't date. Okay, fine. So let's look at the practicality of that. I can't date. Why can't I date? How else do I know how to interact with the opposite sex? Yeah. How else do I learn how to be more social around the opposite sex? Or they say, no, you must come to church choir. Church choir, what are we doing in church choir? We are singing, and then what? If you see me with a sister at church, it's a scandal. You must disciplinary, whatnot. Yeah. So that's one example as a young person that I did not understand. How do you reconcile me keeping myself pure until I get married and not having any interaction with a female? So the miracle is I'm gonna remain pure until I get married, find a wife who I'm sexually compatible with, Somewhere. It's the great miracle. It's a great miracle. And you ask pastors about the high divorce rate in church, they will not tell you. So a lot of things literally piss me off, and I realized that the church is lying to people or telling people half truth. Am I incorrect in saying that?
No. You're very correct. And let me also, I want to talk about my own personal experience. First, I had my son, I was 32 years, my firstborn son. All in the name of keeping yourself. And you realize later in life that I had started to have a family. I would be growing with my kid, and by the time I'm in my late 40s, my kids would be more or less teenagers, almost to young adults. I'll still be able to interact with them. So I've seen it with a lot of women also that grew up in church, that they stay longer. Then in their old age, when the clock is ticking, they make a lot of mistakes by now grabbing anything that passes because time is against them. So for me, when I talk the institution of church, it covers a lot of aspects, which is social life, which includes the marriage part of it. But the financial part of it, how the financial structure of the pastors is done. Last thing there's a family I know, they used to stay in a missionary house. So I'm asking myself, because in that church, particularly you passed. So they stayed in that missionary house for all of the years, and now they are nowhere. They must find a way to nudge the parents because they don't have a place to stay. In their old age, in their retirement, the church does not care anymore. They don't have medical aid. In fact, when the last time my church stopped, my father was invited to go preach in some church in Carltonville. He started preaching there, and then he collapsed on stage. The background of him collapsing was because the church, it's called Vuka, has had challenges. Now, at his age, it was becoming strenuous. He collapsed preaching. That church, they had to try to take him to a doctor. Fortunately, that pastor, these are new pastors now on the company. They took him to a private doctor and put the medical, whatever. But he went to a good doctor. He was fine. And when he came back, the first thing he said with my other sister was, "We're closing down the church." And as I speak with you now, the actual church where I grew up is closed down. Xelema branch, I2, I3 somewhere, but the actual where we went every Sunday. And since then, our father has improved physically. I mean, he's 83. If I can show you his pictures, never called. Because we took away that stress. So I'm saying the institution of church, which has got a bad influence of respecting, honoring, but taking care of the elders who gave their life to go to church all the years, it has to be desired. It has to be they start growing.
Let me tell you. Oh no. So number one, my church has been my dad has been loyal to this church for over 43 years. I can't tell you the name in case they sue me. They like suing. A church lawsuit. Yeah. Anyway, so my dad, his health started deteriorating, and they said we can't. There's a pension scheme for the fundis. But they said to my dad, with all the work that you've done for our church, you don't qualify for that pension scheme because you had not presided over a church in those 43 years. So I'm thinking, oh, hold on. Sure. And then the same crowd stands up in front of people and say, repent from your sins. You are going to, which heaven are they going to? You know, some of these pastors, I promise you, I would rather have a glass of whiskey with the devil himself than some of these pastors, because what they preach is institutionalized. It's a standard preaching. Everyone preaches the same thing, from TD Jakes to Tade Krompo from Katlehong. They preach the same thing, and that worries me. They speak the same tongues. You know, something's not right here. So they said to my dad, you don't qualify. And you know, that said to me, there either is no heaven or heaven will be full of sinners.
No, true. I mean, me, like I said, my father was an evangelist in the Alliance Church, but he left before he even went to pension. But then I was still on Sunday school. At Sunday school, there was a pastor there. He was old, and by the time I started, because I was worried about him, I said, why is this pastor? You know, he went elsewhere, he died as a pauper elsewhere, and the church has forgotten. And I know a lot of people will be saying to us, but it's the responsibility of the pastors themselves to consider these things when they retire. But when you work in an institution, in a secular institution, they have those systems where they take care of their people in retirement. Why, when it comes to pastors, it's a different story? You know,
but where do they take the money from? Where do they take the money from? Because there's constantly people knocking on your door, asking for food, asking for money to take the kids to school. There's constantly people asking for marital advice for free instead of paying 1.5 consultation.
Bro, you ask
Where do you
me,
take the money?
there are many young people, my mother, because my mom, she's the one who was into, was the matriarch of the family. There are many young people she took to school, she paid for at school. People would come hungry, eat there at our house. And you're asking yourself, but why is this all thing? And they never even ask me every Saturday. Man, we would wake up searching some Polish. That's how I grew up. This book say, "Ngama Fridays, man, we would go as Kanyeni, so Tata Amatin, a shade our Polish. So forget Pavi, then there's a Amanza Villa, so scrap. Then the following day, Saturday, we would so forget Polish. Saturday morning, we went to go sell. That's how we survived. And that thing has grown me to a point where I've never been formally employed ever in my life. I've always been into the hustle or the business of things, thanks to my mom. But we always help people. But when you need help, when you call someone and say, "Hey, Chief, I'm starting this business, hey, I'm doing this, can you ask?" They are nowhere to be seen. And these are people who sit there in your face, ask you, "Hey, pass my greetings to so." And I don't want to say names because some of them you would know them. In fact, 4 of them, no one does not know them in the country. And every time I meet them, that's one goes, "Hey, Upu Puchot, Upu Mampusis Naomi, Umi stress, Upu share." And they always ask the same question. Very influential positions. And we're not saying give us but because these people have got relationships, but they're nowhere to be seen. So I'm saying there's a lot that has been done, and then the expectation is that when I was a fan of Baba, you're gonna have that good heart, that good heart.
I think that's where me and you messed up. So imagine if with your family history and your background, and you started a church or a ministry, and with me, with my dad's reputation and whatnot. I mean, I always say to my dad, if I could start a church, I can tell you now, categorically, I would have the biggest church in South Africa. Hands down.
I always tell my wife that, look, in fact, let me tell you what happened. As I'm saying that, for me, the consciousness of the communist consciousness that I began to develop. So there was this pastor we met. It was from outside.
Okay, wait. Before you start that story, let's take a quick break, and then you can have enough time to tell the story. Yeah.
All right. Sure.
If you suspect your dog of having a foul mouth, try Super Breath Dog Bones from Fido. Available at all reputable pet stores and supermarkets nationwide.
What do most banks know about simplicity? About what it means to live better?
Do you really need all those accounts that cost you more just because you earn more? And the hoops you have to jump through for the free rewards that you hardly ever use. Aren't you just tired of it?
What if I told you there's a simpler way?
A bank that takes all the complexity of banking and turns it on its head. Capitec is doing just that, using technology to cut the cost of banking and put the value back in your pocket with Live Better benefits that you can get immediately, making you feel valued when you need it most. Here's a bank that invests in innovative solutions to simplify your life so that you can live better. Simplify banking. Live better.
More music, more inspiration. Vuka Online.
Welcome back to this. Pastors, I'm not going to apologize because I've got a fellow PK here and we know what we're talking about. Most of the time you think I'm making up stories, but now I've got a supporter who will say, Makawe, you've been right all along. So you're telling us a story about some pastor.
So he came to this country and we started preaching together.
Is it Bushiri?
I told you, Huh?
Is it Bushiri?
Come again? No, yeah, we're preaching.
Yeah, is
Come
it
again?
Bushiri? Is it Bushiri?
No, I've never been close to
okay.
him. I've never met him, for that matter. It's another one. No. So we preached. And I remember we went to the Eastern Cape. People all flock and came. We went to your Botswana, your Swaziland. And now there was this pledging story. This envelope, we're going to pray for you, plant a seed thing. Just still new in this country. And literally, after preaching and people would be coming in numbers, this pastor would be taking money from the envelopes, not even praying for. We would be counting around 80,000, 90,000 a night. And I said, but this money comes from poor people, with the hope that God will answer their prayers. And here is this guy. He's just taking the money and nothing is happening. He just doesn't even pray for these prayer things in the envelopes, And because I've been from that space, I always say the same thing. If I could start a church now, with my father's background and my knowledge of the church, but also with, possibly, I know some, but with Vicky around me, the musician, and me, I could brand a powerful church, and I could start it, and I would make a lot of money. But my consciousness does not allow me to say I'll get back at the church by making money, because I will be also killing other people and other souls. So let the hatred of church, or let the gripe that I have with church, but if I could start a church.
So are you saying a lot of pastors have lost their consciousness?
No, they have. Makawe, look, people, the guys now are making so much amount. It's about money. They know how to manipulate. They know what scripture to talk about, and to make people cry, and to make people take out that last cent they have, in a hope God will bless them. Me, I grew up in a house where no money exchange. People at any time meeting session in TV, as a family, in that forum house, that's how we lived, and there was nothing. So much is all luxury. So the consciousness and the love of money has taken away what we grew up knowing as a church, or as the preaching, or as the true gospel. Hence, for me, not going to church, not because of I hate God. I pray with my family every morning. I do all that I need to do. But sitting in a church and start hearing these gimmicks from this pastor every day, even if I'm visiting and then I start hearing these stories before the offering and we start giving scriptures, no, and I begin to say, I can no longer sit full service when I see people being manipulated.
So, in terms of the manipulation, where do you think the church started? Where do you think it went wrong?
Look, it went wrong, first and foremost. You see, the church is not immune from the political change of any land. So with the new dispensation of the 1994, we began to be exposed to what we call middle class. Black people started to access money and all of these things. So it became, we had members in our church. We had a big church when people coming in now. So all of a sudden you have people who are money. So it matters. how many people are coming to your church. It matters what people are driving when they come to your church. It matters who is in your board as a church. It matters who are your members of the church. If there are doctors, nurses, there and there, and all these people. When you start selling your church, you sell it at the point of as a corporate. And I think when we started running church as a corporate, it began to give us a lot of challenge. And believe you me, and I'm not saying it's wrong, because we need to have people who are going to run an organization correctly with financial reporting and all. But it became a point where we attracted people because of what they had. And for me, I think that's where it went wrong. So most of our concerts, even our church members that we had, left our churches or old buildings. They went to churches in northern suburbs. Or somewhere in a suburb to go to church, because it's a big church. There are LED cameras, they are all of them. So that's what really, for me, I think that's where it all. So it put pressure on the local pastors to want to keep up. Now,
so if you ask me the same question, I would say the church lost it when the messenger became more important than the message.
You have summed it all up.
Brian, which is the Son of God, or God Himself, the third of the Trinity. He left the message here. He died.
True.
He died and left the message. So who are these pastors who think they are more important than the message?
No, that's true. No. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. You couldn't have said it better, because they become gods in those ministries. They become more important than Christ Himself. That's what it is. I mean, I'm a parent to bring an appointment. You would come in anytime, but now you must have 10,000. They've got bodyguards. Yeah, they've become more important. You're correct.
Now they walk with 20 bodyguards, and you ask yourself, where's the God? Where's this God? Why is the God not protecting them? But Brian, we can sit here and talk the whole night. So last question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the Christian God, or do you believe in a God?
I believe in God. I believe in God.
Who is that God?
Come again?
Who is that God?
Okay, look, you said to me, you've got a short time, and now you're starting this particular one topic. And
no, we can always have a part two, but briefly, who is this God according to you, my fellow PK?
If I can give an answer, for me, the God of my father. God I've seen my father preach. God I've seen heal the sick with my own eyes. God I've seen doing the impossible, not in gimmicks, not by gimmicks and acting. You know, I've seen people being literally being raised from their infirmities and being healed from their demonic oppression. That's a God I still believe in. And no one else can ever tell me otherwise. Even if I don't go to it's godly. But for me, that's a God I still continue to pray. Then the current one in the problem, because he's too plastic, he's too materialistic. He blesses people based on their social spending. And that's the problem I have with the current God that now most of people worship. But I could say uNkulunkulu wobaba bami, uNkulunkulu kamkhulu, uNkulunkulu kababa. That's the God I still pray to. And in fact, I address him in that way. So if abazali bazoba ne-problem, ngim-addressa kanjalo, ngimudimo wantate, ngimudimo bontataro. That's what I say again.
Yeah, mawucala uthi bontate mtataro bazothi hayi sakwenza amadlozi. What's your opinion on amadlozi? Quickly, what's your opinion on amadlozi?
Look, my opinion is simple. There has been a confusion of interpretation in this whole thing. Because amadlozi is a simple word in Zulu that means ancestor. And we all do have ancestors. And I am who I am because of my father, because of my grandfather. However, the confusion is when you then want to say they are demons. And I said the problem because they are not. That's my I'll just stop there. But then because also we don't have the word angels in Zulu or in an African language, which is a message. So until we find that correct word in African understanding, I'll then have a better engagement on what. But so guess now,
Amen.
We don't worship. So we don't worship them. We don't worship them.
No, they're inside of us. Our DNA is littered with our ancestors, whether we like it or not. So I know, just quickly, I know you have this amazing show that's coming up. Please tell us about it, and where can people buy tickets, and when is it? What must they look out for on the show?
Look, the show is on the 31st of March, 1st April, and 2nd April at the Johannesburg Theatre. Soweto Spiritual Singers, the very first time we have our show in South Africa after touring the world. It's a spiritual show, not a gospel show. So I want to warn those who are gospel worshippers to not be offended. It's a spiritual show. So we touch base on all the spiritual aspects of our music and we bring it into one show. So that's what it is. There's dance, there's drumming, there's postola, there's clap and tap, there's zaluroni, there's shepherd, there's everything in celebration of ourselves as Africans. So that we know that even before there was this much harmony of the Christians and the missionaries, we had our own form, amahubo, of worshiping God. And you'll find it in our show.
Where do they get the tickets?
The tickets, you can go to the website, Johannesburg Theatre, www.joburgtheatre.com, or you can go to Pick and Pay, the web ticket. Pick and Pay, they do have web tickets. They do have tickets there. 250, 350, and 400 rands ticket.
So 400 rands is for the rich pastors?
Yeah, it's for the rich pastors with white shoes. They come
My brother, thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best with your show. I will try and be there if I'm not, things inside. But I will try by all means to be there because I love how you have implanted yourself in celebrating us as Black Africans who happen to be Christian, not the other way around. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Fantastic. And to the viewers, stay tuned for some jazz and some gospel music. But yeah, just make sure that you keep tuned in to Vuka Online. Vuka Katide signing out. Adios.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
It's Vuka Online, your inspiration radio station.
to Vuka Online Radio News at this hour. Police said that the National Anti-Kidnapping Task Team was currently investigating over 160 cases that were related to kidnapping and extortion. This came after police arrested 4 men in Parktown last week for allegedly targeting users of the dating app Grindr. Criminals had infiltrated the free-to-use app as a tool to lure queer people before kidnapping and robbing them. The 4 men arrested last week allegedly used the dating app to lure the unsuspecting victims to secluded places before robbing and kidnapping them. Police said that their victims were members of the queer community. Police added that in similar cases, criminals were operating in hotspots including Soweto, Tembisa, and Johannesburg Central Business District and Pretoria. People should be extra vigilant of the type of information that they share on the general public, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp status, because that is that's where suspects and criminals are looking to target their next victims. President Cyril Ramaphosa has completed his consultations with the ANC's alliance partners on the cabinet reshuffle after meetings with COSATU and the SA Communist Party this weekend. Sources told the media that he was expected to announce his new cabinet very soon. City Press understands that Ramaphosa has been engaging with the alliance partners since he hinted about the reconfiguration and realignment of government a few weeks ago. Ramaphosa had one-on-one or consultative meetings with COSATU and SACP leaders on Friday regarding imminent cabinet reshuffle, according to sources. Ramaphosa met with COSATU General Secretary Solipito and his SACP counterpart Solima Baida separately to discuss his intentions. On Tuesday, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula told the media that although Ramaphosa would use his prerogative in his cabinet reshuffle, he would consult with the governing party and its alliance partners before making the announcement. The president is expected also to announce the new minister in the presidency responsible for electricity. Nearly 85,000 households and businesses were without power in the Los Angeles area on Saturday as storms continued to pummel parts of California, bringing snow to higher elevations and dumping rain in hail in the flatlands. Interstate 5, the largest highway leading north out of the city, remained closed in the steep grade known as the Grapevine due to heavy snow, while several more southern points of the freeway in and around Los Angeles were closed due to flooding, the California Department of Transportation has reported. In Northern California, San Francisco was expected to experience record cold temperatures on Saturday, and the National Weather Service warned residents in the state capital of Sacramento to avoid travel from Sunday through Wednesday as rain and snow started up again after a reprieve on Saturday. The next set of storms expected to hit on Sunday will bring wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour and up to 70 miles per hour in the nearby Sierra Nevada mountains. Yosemite National Park was closed through Wednesday due to severe winter conditions. Brigadier William Kamoro has officially taken over from Brigadier Chatani Gula as commander of the Kenya Defence Forces contingent serving with the African Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMS. The command handover ceremony took place on Friday at the ATMS Sector 2 at headquarters in Dobli, which is manned by Kenyan Defence Forces. Brigadier Gula supervised the 11th ATMS KDF contingent during his one-year tour of duty in Somalia, while Brigadier Kamoro will command the 12th ATMS KDF contingent